Right now at 10, helping immigrants in need, how a local organization is providing legal support and crucial financial services.
And we have an update on a homicide that happened in Madison over the weekend. We'll tell you about the charges the suspects are facing.
And making sure students get home safely, how state lawmakers are working to catch drivers who illegally pass school buses. That's all ahead on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson. We are learning more tonight about the deadly shooting of Alex Preddy that happened in Minneapolis.
A new memo has been sent to congressional staff. It says one Border Patrol agent yelled, "He's got a gun," multiple times before two federal officers opened fire at Preddy as he allegedly resisted arrest. There was no mention of the 37-year-old, quote, brandishing a gun, contrary to claims by DHS Secretary Kristi Noem soon after the shooting. Well, here in Wisconsin, advocates say immigrants are going through trying times, juggling whether or not to abandon the life they sought here due to federal operations across the country.
Our Armand Rahman caught up with Centro Dane County about how you can directly help families in need.
That's right, Eric and Sarah. Advocates with Centro Dane County say right now, with policies in flux and the possibility of ICE activity like we see in Chicago or Minneapolis still on the table here, there's been increased demand for legal defense and family support. While scenes like this are yet to be seen around Dane County, the impact still ripples through the immigrant community here.
We have a number of families that are very scared and fearful for what the future might hold.
Which is why Centro Dane County started the Immigrant Defense Fund last January.
I think the realities have been a challenge for a long time.
Centro has dispersed about $1.5 million throughout the state to help immigrants with legal fees, emergency support for families, and even housing. They're close to having $2 million to start 2026.
I think in a month, if we're taking care of families that are at risk, we could spend as much as $250,000 in needs of the community.
Karen Collar, executive director of Centro Dane County, says more immigrants she talks to are left deciding whether that American dream is worth the harsh reality they're seeing.
So many are choosing to go back to their countries of origin. So we're supporting them with that repatriation process. It's a very painful process. There are some ways that you need to go about it that supports you legally.
And she says an increasing number aren't given the choice even while following the processes.
Families where perhaps the primary breadwinner has been detained as they went to a check-in at the Milwaukee courthouse, so they are now transferred to a facility in another state, and family is left behind, not having enough resources for rent or to pay food.
Collar says the fund is one way to provide sustainability and care to the immigrant community as they navigate troubled waters.
They are really the future of Wisconsin, in a state where we don't have enough people to fill jobs. Our immigrant community is there to do that. We've been able to be an economic engine for Wisconsin.
And you can donate to the Immigrant Defense Fund on Centro Hispano's website, where you can earmark your donation as well as make an anonymous one. Eric and Sarah.
All right, thank you so much, Armand Rahman, reporting tonight. Well, the ICE officers involved in the fatal shooting of Alex Preddy are on leave, while President Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, is now in Minneapolis leading the ongoing immigration operations. There is some hope the change in leadership will lower tensions, but just last night, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar was attacked during a town hall meeting, and police have since arrested that man responsible.
Do you blame President Trump for this attack on Representative Omar?
Well, certainly. It's the tone. The president constantly attacks Representative Omar, attacks her citizenship, attacks the very decency of it, and we've asked him time and time again to stop it.
Here's the reality that people like this ugly man don't
Representative Omar said on social media that she is doing okay and will not be intimidated by a, quote, small agitator.
Well, still very cold across southern Wisconsin. Alex, we're still counting on that warm-up. A little bit at a time, right?
A little bit at a time, degree by degree, as Sarah has been saying, and I promise you, it's on its way. I think for a weatherman to say I pretty much got a 99.9% chance of our temperatures warming up, I can pretty much guarantee that as we go out into next week. Slow and incremental. We got to get through Thursday and Friday first, but look at Friday of next week, 32. We haven't been that warm in weeks in southern Wisconsin. I'm looking forward to it, at least personally. 4 degrees in Madison right now, and 4s and 5s are very common. 3 in Deerfield. That's the chilly spot in Dane County. We zoom on out. We've got some 1s and a -1 right now in Camp Douglas, 7 in Monroe. So our temperatures are going to be cold yet tonight. I've been saying that this entire week. We've got to get through this week first. Overnight lows tonight between -5 and -10. Wind chills will be down to -5 to -15. Tomorrow, copy and paste what we did today. At least we got the sunshine that makes it feel a little bit better out there. And these temperatures, 11, 12, 13, felt pretty good to some folks that we talked to today. And we'll have that repeat again as we go on into Thursday. And with the warm up that happens next week, as we transition from the bitterly cold stuff to the warm stuff, we're going to have a little light snow in between, that chance coming in on Sunday. When I come back in a few minutes, we'll take a look at that light snow chance, and I'll let you know a little bit more about that weather system in a few minutes.
All right, Alex, thank you. The cold weather we've experienced of late has an effect on everyone's lives, especially those, of course, who are homeless. Madison Street Medicine is different than a typical shelter, as it provides to those in need wherever they are in the community. The shelter says although the winter is typically slower, it is much more critical that the outreach gets done to prevent frostbite and save lives.
So we have a whole outreach team that goes out and then provides supplies and makes connections with people. But a couple times a week, we also take out volunteer prescribers. We have 39 prescribers, okay, who give their time to serve people who don't have anything to give them.
Those in need are encouraged to reach out to Madison Street Medicine. They can help with finding shelters, hotels, providing warmth, and getting in touch with outreach workers.
A local nonprofit is making sure everyone can care for their pets as well, no matter the weather. Madison Pet Clinic, Underdog Pet Rescue, is partnered with the Street Dog Coalition. And once a month, they take care of pets that belong to people who are homeless or dealing with financial burdens at no cost.
I was surprised at the number of homeless people or people living in their cars with pets, and they just expressed the fact that they wouldn't be able to have any vet work done to their animals if it wasn't for the Street Dog Coalition.
The next free clinic will be coming up in February. We have more information about Underdog Pet Rescue's clinic on our website, Channel 3000, right now. And as we make our way through the winter season in these tough temperatures, you can help those in need during our week of warmth. Please help News 3 Now and Channel 3000 raise funds for the nonprofit Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund. It provides critical assistance to families facing heating and cooling emergencies when other resources are running out. Out of every dollar donated, keep in mind 95 cents will go directly to those in crisis. And this all leads up to our telethon Friday as well. If you'd like to donate, you can see that QR code and scan it right on your screen now. And we also have a link to our donation page on channel3000.com.
Next at 10, an 18-year-old is in custody after police say he shot at a woman on Madison's north side over the weekend. Jeremy Comer charged with first-degree recklessly endangering safety, carrying a concealed weapon, and resisting or obstructing an officer. Police say that shooting happened Sunday night on North Point Drive. The woman was not hurt. A short time later, they say Comer arrived at a nearby fire station and was taken into custody. We now know the name of the man who was shot and killed on Madison's south side Sunday morning. He is Luis Sotero Herrera. According to investigators, police were called to Primrose Lane about 3 in the morning for reports of gunshots. Using video footage, police tracked a man with what appeared to be a gun to a nearby home. There, they met a woman who said the suspect is her father. He was later arrested the same day. The suspect faces a charge of first-degree intentional homicide. His daughter faces charges of possession of a firearm by a felon.
It turns out the company QTS will not be moving forward with a proposed data center in DeForest. The announcement comes after Village of DeForest staff recommended the village president reject the annexation petition during their upcoming meeting. QTS says it will still continue its $1.5 million partnership with UW-Madison to advance research into responsible data center development.
Some state lawmakers are seeking to amend Wisconsin's constitution, working to create an individual fundamental right to privacy. Lawmakers say the amendment would protect residents from governmental coercion and overreach. It would also force the government to justify in court how it had the power to violate your privacy, rather than you having to prove the government did something wrong.
11 other states have privacy rights in their constitutions. Some states like Montana and Alaska, the privacy rights been interpreted to be stronger than the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which is for unreasonable searches and seizures.
Democrats are hopeful that Republicans will join them to support the amendment. Another law which allows Wisconsinites to sue in state court for when constitutional rights are violated by state or federal officials has been referred to committee.
Efforts are underway at the state capitol right now to keep kids safe when getting off the school bus. During an average school year, drivers illegally pass stopped school buses more than 800,000 times. But now a bill moving through the legislature would require cameras to be added to catch people who illegally pass. And similar legislation is already in law in 25 states. The bill's author says that it could help drivers who don't have time to document every violation.
They don't have time to get a license plate number. They can usually get a make of the car, model of the car, color of the car, but getting the license plate is a real problem. So they would like this camera system to help them document people that don't stop for the stop sign.
Wisconsin is also facing a bus driver shortage and an aging workforce. A different bill is moving through the legislature looking to ease licensing requirements for drivers over 70 years old.
Washington County Executive Josh Schoemann has dropped out of Wisconsin's 2026 gubernatorial race. Schoemann was running for the Republican nomination, but his announcement came after President Trump endorsed U.S. Congressman Tom Tiffany for governor. In a statement released by Schoemann's campaign, he explained his decision, saying, quote, "If we focus on the people of Wisconsin rather than fighting with one another, we can make Wisconsin the place to be, not just be from."
The Federal Reserve is kicking off 2026 with no change in interest rates. The current benchmark rate is sitting at 3.5% to 3.75%. That is down from over 5% in 2024. But the Fed is holding off on more cuts, pointing to solid economic growth and a still elevated inflation rate. Federal Chair Jerome Powell's term ends in May, and the White House is expecting to announce a successor soon.
Next at 10, Secretary of State Marco Rubio testifies before Congress.
And there are new calls for DHS Secretary Kristi Noem to be fired as a fight over federal funding brews in the Senate.
And Alex is back to tell us how long these unpleasantly cold temperatures will stay with us. And don't forget to donate to the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund. Simply scan the QR code, and with your help, we can provide critical assistance to those facing a heat crisis right now. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is facing fresh criticism tonight.
It comes in the wake of Saturday's deadly shooting in Minneapolis by federal agents. Republican Senators Tom Tillis and Lisa Murkowski have joined congressional Democrats who are calling for Secretary Noem to be fired. Senate Democrats say they will not support funding of DHS without additional restrictions on ICE, and that could lead to a partial government shutdown by the weekend.
Americans want accountability, so let's have a separate vote and a separate debate.
I think the administration is willing to sit down with them and have a discussion, perhaps a negotiation about how do we move forward. But the one thing I do know, and that is that a government shutdown is not in anybody's interest.
Now, Congress has already passed 6 bills to fund various parts of the government, but 6 more remain.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio testified before the Senate today. He was answering questions about Venezuela for the first time since the U.S. arrested that country's president. Secretary Rubio says that Venezuela's acting leaders are cooperating with U.S. officials and that the Trump administration will be working with interim authorities to stabilize the country.
We had in our hemisphere a regime operated by an indicted narco trafficker that became a base of operation for virtually every competitor, adversary, and enemy in the world.
Secretary Rubio says Venezuela will be allowed to sell oil that is currently under U.S. sanctions with revenue set aside to pay for basic government services.
Now to your forecast. Another day of pretty chilly weather out there. And Alex, any alert day cold in our future? We hope we're done with that.
No alert days. Is that the right answer? Yes.
That's what I like to hear.
Yes, no alert days. It's an answer I also like to hear. It means no red glasses either. But as we look over the course of the next 10 days, as we start to warm up next week, our chances for precipitation, they change up too. We have a little light snow in the forecast as we track the next 10 days together. And let's take a peek at what that looks like here. Just some light snow as we go into Sunday overnight going on into Monday. early Monday, I should emphasize too here. This is for the entire state of Wisconsin. This is a Clipper-like system that's going to come in from the north and from the west in light snow accumulation. I want to emphasize that light snow accumulation expected later Sunday going into Sunday night and Monday, and then maybe a little bit more as we head into Tuesday night going on into Wednesday. And that's all part of small price, I think, to pay as we head out of the deep freeze, out of the 11 for a high temperature tomorrow on Thursday, 13 Friday. We're going into the mid-20s by the time we get into next week. What are we going to do with temperatures like that? Then all the way up to 32 degrees by the time we get up to next Friday. Actual air temperatures out there right now: 4 in Madison, 3 in Janesville, 6 in Lone Rock, 1 in the Dells, and then you go up a little bit further on 39 up towards Camp Douglas, and it's -1 right now. So temperatures tonight are still going to be in that bitter range. Not dangerously cold, but certainly cold enough. -5 in Madison, -7 in Baraboo, tie that in Lone Rock, and -4 in Janesville. So another cold night tonight. Tomorrow, as I mentioned earlier in First Weather, just copy and paste the forecast. You'll feel probably pretty good as we start to, again, get out of this real deep Arctic grip with temperatures in the lower teens. And the warmer weather will still move into southern Wisconsin once we get beyond Friday. Now, the wind chills still, we pay a price a little bit Thursday morning and Friday morning between -5 and -15. So waking up to wind chills at that caliber, at that level, not quite dangerous, but still, if you are out and about, maybe taking your dog for a walk, know their limits still. Take time indoors for yourself as well. If you have to be outdoors, limit that time outdoors. Come inside a little bit, warm up, and if you have to get back out again, then do so. But just take that easy, as frostbite can occur in as little as 30 minutes under those conditions. We get out of the deep freeze Thursday going into Friday. There we go. Then into the 20s, those light snow chances Sunday going on into Monday, and then another one on Wednesday. And then we get all the way up to freezing. Freezing. How about that? Sauk City. We're looking at a little bit of the open water here on the Wisconsin River, and that temperatures of the water certainly are warmer than the actual air temperatures that we have out there, and that's why we get that steam. So Jessica sends us this photo from Sauk City. Impressive little photo there, and with a little bit of warming as we head out into next week. Some of that ice, not so much on the lakes, but some of the ice on those area rivers might start to melt just a little bit.
Yeah, pretty looking too.
It is pretty.
I think so.
Well, ice cold first half tonight at the Kohl Center. They needed to warm up in the second half, right?
Yeah, I'd say that's an understatement. The steam was nowhere to be found. Still to come in sports, Wisconsin hosting Minnesota, looking to bounce back from that abysmal start and make some history in the Kohl Center. Next on News 3 Now.
And now, News 3 Now Sports, brought to you by TDS Telecom.
I don't need to remind you how it ended last time Wisconsin played Minnesota in men's hoops, but I'll do it anyways. They went into the Gophers' house and beat them at the buzzer. Bucky looking for that season sweep tonight that meant more than just basketball. Suits and sneakers, coaches rocking shoes designed by children at the AmFam Children's Hospital. And honestly, this first half couldn't have gotten much uglier. Let's jump to the final 10 seconds of the first frame. Bobby Durkin hits the triple to put the Gophers up 35-15, and at this point, he was outscoring Bucky by himself. Wisconsin started 4 for 28 from the field, and finally, right before the first half ends, they made their first 2-point bucket of the game, but somehow it would help them surge. Wisconsin would outscore Minnesota 50-28 in the second half. The Badgers win it for a program record 11th straight time. Wisconsin women's hockey heads to Minneapolis for a border battle of their own with a twist. The twist being starting this weekend, they'll be without 5 of their best players, including their goalie, who are all en route to Italy to play in the Winter Olympics. Now, Mark Johnson knows a thing or two about playing in the Olympics, but he admits this does put him in quite the pickle, losing his All-American netminder, and her backups, they haven't really gotten any game reps, so they'll have to jump right into the hot water.
You know, we've talked about it now for a while. Greeny's had discussion with them, you know, last 4, 5, 6 weeks, and, you know, knowing that this day was going to be in front of us. So even though on the weekend you might not be playing, it's like that backup quarterback. And all of a sudden, you know, the main quarterback, you know, blows up his ankle. And now you're getting into a playoff game. And if you win that game, you go to the Super Bowl. Am I ready to play?
On the men's side, it's, you guessed it, another border battle. This one in the Twin Cities this weekend for men's hockey. Bucky will look for their first season sweep of the Gophers since the turn of the century. Both of those games will air on our sister station, Television Wisconsin. And before Friday's game, you can join Quinn Finley and I on the Wisconsin Huddle. But that's still a full 45, 46 hours away. So I figure let's do a new segment called Huddle on 3, where we bring the fun of the Wisconsin Huddle to Channel 3 itself. This week, I asked the hardest question I could think of to the Badgers to say something nice about Minnesota.
I lived in Minnesota for 2 years, so it's good hospitality.
Fair enough.
Leave it at that. It's a great place to play pond hockey in the winters.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I like the color gold.
Well, I think Alex might have had his gold frames on tonight. I don't know about that. We'll make sure of that. Come back and join us on News 3 Now.
You ready to be fully known?
No, but let's do it.
Bad Bunny takes the Colbert Questionnaire. All new CBS tonight.
And Alex is back. Final check of the forecast.
Incremental improvement. I've been saying that all week, and I think that's latching on. I think
Very
people-
slow and steady. We'd like things to go faster.
And slow, but slow and steady wins the
Let's go,
race,
Alex.
right? Light snow chance on Sunday out ahead of the warmer temperatures that are on the way. The good news is no alert days in the forecast, although we will have some bitter cold temperatures to contend with tonight, getting down between -5, -10. Wind chills to -15, waking up to Thursday morning. As we go into Friday, another carbon copy. Temperatures starting off in the single digits, right around 0 to 4 degrees as we head into the weekend. But look at Saturday. There's the 20. How about a 25 on Sunday? That little light snow. Sunday night going into Monday, we might get some light snow accumulation, but then temperatures stay way into the mid-20s, into the lower 30s as we head out into the end of next week. So if you can make it through tomorrow, if you can make it through Friday, we got it made.
We'll make it.
Because then after that, it's warming up.
30s are going to feel so warm.
Thanks, Alex.
You're right. We're going to have people in their shorts, all kinds of craziness once we get the temperatures up to 30.
Great. Thanks for watching News 3 Now at 10, everyone. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is up next. And don't forget to donate to the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund. You can scan right there that QR code.
95 cents of every dollar goes to help those who need some heat during crisis. Have a good night, folks.